drafted.
It's
Ginger
because
guys aren't bad.
Depends on what kind of ginger guy we're talking about.
I do a
Gingers are
ginger
usually
guy.
like either ass ugly or like
pale,
really, really attractive.
pale red, like bright red hair and freckles.
Yeah, I could be attracted to that, depending on what the face looks like and stuff, and the build, the person.
I think I was cute too.
I have such a broad. I'm like attracted to so many different kinds of people.
Well, I'm just attracted to people if they're like attractive. You know,
Yeah, sure.
I don't think any
Yeah, How is
particular
kind of cute,
kind
but
of person has a monopoly on being attractive, and I don't really understand people who are like particularly attracted to like certain types of people for like particular reason.
Are girls like not attracted to Asian guys because a lot of times because that they've been kind of like emasculated by like
yeah.
Yeah,
because
like
in the gay
they have small
community, for
dicks and
instance,
stuff.
yeah. So like in the gay community, I feel like that's like usually a good representation of what's going on in the world. Because like the black guys are always tops and the Asian guys are always bottoms. Like that's just the thing. Whites and
do
Hispanics can
white
be
guys switch
versatile.
hit?
What happened?
Do white guys switch hit?
Well, it just varies, but like for the opposite, it's like almost always for like
How does that
Asian.
work? Like when you're dating a guy or something, do you just tell him straight up, like I'm only a top, I'm only a bottom, or whatever?
I mean, I don't really have. I mean, the friends that I have, they usually probably meet the person online, talk about it online, don't meet up unless they're compatible sexually
Yeah,
in
okay.
that way.
Is basically not sexual, but he's not masculine.
I mean, like gender expression and femininity and all that doesn't really have to do with like before I was even like aware of my sexuality. I was always aware of it, but like I don't know, like the way I acted didn't really have anything to do with that, in the way I
Mm.
presented.
I don't like the obvious gays. I think it's too much. Like,
Why is
Well,
you know
it
what I
I
mean?
don't.
black guys
People
always
who feel
have
the
the best
need to like intentionally act gay just because they are gay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking hate that shit. Just be like a fucking regular person. For
Yeah,
fuck's
I
sake.
don't really get that either. And like the whole
Well,
affected lisps that they don't actually have.
Yeah, exactly stuff like that.
uh,
I mean, I just don't really get why it even matters. They like think they sound cute with a lisp, then who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like something that really regularly bothers me, and it's not something
no.
that I encounter often. But
It bothers
it is somewhat off-putting when like it's really in your face all of a sudden.
A large part of it is like a protest to these exact plights from straight people. So it's like either assimilate or
Well,
protest.
it has nothing to do with assimilating. It's just like exactly what we're saying is that you're
keep your fucking glitter away from
no
me.
you're the way you feel sexually doesn't necessarily have to do anything to do with the way that you behave outwardly. That's exactly what we're saying.
But I mean, they
well,
already
that's like
know
a
how
way.
they're expected to act, regardless of sexuality. Like even if like somebody is straight and
Acting super gay when you're gay is it's just conformity. It's not actually rebelling against anything. It's conforming to the stereotype.
Yeah, exactly.
which is often shamed, and they're like, "Well, fuck you. I'm going to be a stereotype regardless. If I act like you want me to act, then I'm submitting in some sense to whatever." And
You know what
then
you're, or are you just resisting?
what happened?
I mean, it sounds like you're just resisting, or maybe I just didn't follow the point, but it didn't sound like it was really a point. So I'm just resisting.
What didn't you get? I'm saying
There-
that either way, you're a stereotype. If you act straight, then you're like not like the other
No, we're not
gays.
saying
I'm
you
like
have
a
to act
totally
straight
normal
either.
gay.
Like
You know?
straight people don't act like they're straight. They just
act like people.
act like people. Like
Yeah, and they're acting like people too, who just so happen to have a lisp.
But they don't.
yeah, I'm talking
So you're
about
saying
people
that
who
they're
don't just so
faking the
happen
lisp.
to have one and they're affecting
then-
it on purpose. Like
Why do Valley girls like talk like this all the time? You know, like they get around like it's good for people and they like talk like this.
yeah.
You know, but like they have like no really reason to, but they just like talking like this.
Don't be a hater, she.
I mean, I just don't get what you guys aren't really getting about.
Big deal. It's just unnecessary speech impediments.
And also like you
I
know
don't mind
want to
like
be
mad at all. I just find it odd and off-putting in a way. That's all. Like
like
I don't really mind it that much.
It's like
But why is it off-putting? Is a bigger question. I don't
Well,
think. I don't think
told
that.
it differently because, like, to get attention, I guess.
It's intentional wrongness. It bothers me in the same way that like some fucking white trash will intentionally override their spell check in order to spell something more fucking ghetto.
Yeah.
Like, I need to ask you a question. Why the fuck is it spelled that way?
But I mean, you don't even realize that these people were criticized at like the age of 12 when they weren't even consciously thinking of this stuff for talking like a girl. It's not like it's something that develops over time. The way you speak is not just like an overnight, like, oh, today I'm gonna have a lisp. Like that's not the way it works.
is it really a lisp though?
Well, whatever they consider. Yeah, I don't even think it's a lisp. It's more of like
Because they're still speaking clearly. It's just how they sound.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
So
It's also a wrist or a hand gesture.
So it's not like they're saying ask you a question and using bad grammar. They're just phrasing their words in a way that you don't like, or like
Yeah.
making their words sound in a way that makes
so
you
now-
uncomfortable for whatever reason.
Drag on certain, whether they emphasize certain sounds and letters, specifically S's, is lisp-ish. It may not be a perfect lisp, but it's but
I
they're
want to know why it bothers you, but tell me why.
huh?
Why does it bother you?
Tell me
Because
why.
intentional incorrectness.
So waving your hand around and being a little feminine, quote unquote, is wrong.
No, the lisping is wrong. The hand gestures go with the lisp.
How is the lisping wrong if you can hear everything they're saying and understand it?
If you can understand broken English, that doesn't mean it's broken. It's not broken English.
So if a girl has a slightly like overly feminine way of speaking, then that irritates you too.
Yeah, Taylor, does that irritate you?
That's not the same thing. There's not. It irritates me when girls booch the fuck up and put on steel-toed boots and
Yeah, you're once again
Also,
just,
then
like,
when you're not
reinforcing-
accepting a gender role, it bothers you.
what I'm saying is by conforming to gay stereotypes, they're not bucking a system. They're reinforcing it.
Well, you're conforming to a white stereotype.
Yeah, you realize that those stereotypes were created by straight people to shame gay people into assimilating, right?
Okay, so again, why does that? So they just embrace the negative stereotype.
They're saying I'm either going to assimilate, or if I assimilate, I'm a stereotype anyways because I'm not like the other gays. And if I just be myself and I happen to fit the stereotype, then more power to me and fuck you.
What they're
white
not
people.
saying is I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do.
So what you're saying is that you're assuming the motivation behind people's behaviors, right?
Yes,
Well, you're wrong for that because you have no basis for it.
you don't. Why don't you have a list? Have a fake list.
Because I'm being myself, just like the people with lisps are being themselves.
Your voice got a little bit kind of flightier when you answer that
Is this what you're doing? You're distracting from the fact that you're wrong?
question. No, intentionally putting a speech impediment or bad grammar into
They don't stutter. Like, what are you talking about? They don't have a fucking
Okay,
speech
so my
impediment.
question is, when you are gay, like, is that something cognitive? I don't know how to say it.
Cock.
Cognitively wrong to
That's
your
something
opponent?
cognitively wrong.
Like,
Freudian slip.
for you to like lisp and like wave your hand around, like why does it change because you have a different sexual preference? I don't get that.
I mean, they don't go hand in hand. There's plenty of straight people, I'm sure, that have similar gestures. But
Hmm?
the thing is, you kind of aspire, like, let's say, for instance, you watch like really manly men on TV, and that's who you aspire to be like because you find that interesting. Then naturally, you kind of just like pick up on, oh, this is like what a cool man does, and then you do all those things, and you're not necessarily cognizant of it as you're growing up. It sort of just all like clings to you, and then one day you are the adult that you are. So like,
That was just so. That's how people develop into adults.
so you don't think that any part of you is hypermasculine because you saw what the idea of?
I think it's very possible. However, I don't think that.
Do you think it's likely?
But I'm not talking about me because
Why?
masculine.
You're just as good an example as anyone else.
No, because there's nothing grammatically intentionally false
There's
about.
nothing grammatically wrong with the way that people are speaking when they have a quote unquote lisp. Like if you look up the definition of a lisp and then hear a gay person talk, they don't have a lisp.
What the fuck do you call that thing?
They're just speaking. What do you mean?
With their S's. Does that have a name at all, or there's no differentiation between how
Can you
gay?
give us an example, Taylor, of what this
I
sounds
will
like?
not.
Oh my god!
I
You're
don't hear
so
an S in there.
amazing.
I'll give you guys an example of why you're wrong. There are people who literally go to speech therapy to talk more like a man, even though there's nothing wrong with the way they speak, because they don't want to be discriminated against and deal with this bullshit. You should watch the documentary, Do I Sound Gay? It's on Netflix. Maybe you'll learn something from it.
I'm certainly not going to spend 2 hours watching a documentary about gay speech therapy.
Okay, well then this conversation probably won't be that productive because you don't actually want to learn anything new.
So you're saying that the correlation is most likely strictly coincidental, and these people just talk this way. It's not because. I mean, I personally have seen gay guys who turn it on and off.
You already know this, though, that when a girl, for instance, is talking to a guy that she finds attractive, her voice goes up, and a guy's voice gets deeper when he's talking to a girl he finds attractive. So are you upset about that, too?
I actually hadn't noticed that.
Well, studies have shown that over and over, that's a thing.
Okay, there are lots of social behaviors that happen when two people communicate. Communication is much more than just the words. However, I'm talking about one specific correlation, which is a lisp-ish type thing that gay men do with their S's.
Okay. Yes, that's what we're talking about. What is your point, though?
My point is that your point about voice inflection has nothing to do.
It's about humans and how speech changes all the time, and you're getting upset about the one thing about gay people, but not about everything else that is unnatural about other people's speech.
Getting upset because you're muddying the water.
I'm not muddying the water. I'm giving you a bigger picture and a wider scope of how
In the
humans
big
interact.
picture, why is there such a consistent correlation between the two?
Between what?
Why is it the only speech stereotype besides you? Okay, not the only one, but there aren't a lot of stereotypes.
There's not.
Okay, there's racial ones.
and there's the one of like the